Hi all, it's Cameron. I have a bit of exciting news to share today. Many of you know that I have been taking care of Simba for a few months while a friend of mine adjusts to having a new baby in their home. But it has now been decided that I will be his new owner. Every time I look at him, my heart bursts with love. With such a cute face as his, I'm sure many of you would agree. However, there's also quite a bit of sadness that wells up inside me every time I look into those eyes. I wanted to talk about that a little bit in this video. This story, though, starts with another dog, Jisoo. Yes, she has a human name, which I think is absolutely hilarious. I got to keep her for a week while her owner went on vacation. She was the first dog I had to take care of in a long time. She wasn't quite a year old when I had her, so it was definitely like having a puppy in the house. Jisoo wasn't completely trained to use the bathroom outside, so there was always the fear that she'd mess up my carpet. Luckily, that only happened a couple of times, and it cleaned up easily. It was great to have a new energy in the house, and while walking her 2 times or more daily wasn't the easiest of tasks for the week, I did welcome the regularity that it brought to my schedule. Having to take care of a dog, especially a young dog, really gets you out of your mind because they're depending on you for food, walks, playing, baths. No matter if I was tired or busy, Jisoo being in the house meant I had to pull myself away from whatever I was doing, forget about myself for a bit, and focus on her needs. Strangely though, rather than being burdensome, somehow it felt really fulfilling to be responsible for another life. I only had Jisoo for a week, so even though I was sad to see her leave, I was able to keep myself from getting too emotionally attached. I did, however, feel how empty my house was without her there, and it really started me thinking about getting a dog. As luck would have it, not long after, a friend of mine contacted me and asked if I could take care of their dog. They were expecting a baby and wanted a week or 2 to get into the rhythm of parenthood without having to worry about taking care of a dog as well. I, of course, said yes, and not long after, Simba arrived at my house. Those couple of weeks turned into a month, and then a few months, and now it's been decided that maybe Simba should just stay here. That is, of course, something that I wanted to ask my friend, but I couldn't. I have become quite attached to him, and I was dreading the day I would have to say goodbye. So my friend's suggestion was quite a relief. Simba is about 2 years old. We aren't sure exactly what type of dog he is, but we think that there's quite a bit of Pomeranian or Shiba Inu or Japanese Spitz. I really want to get a DNA test done to find out. The mystery, of course, is his ears and where they might have come from. They look to be too big for his face and are not really characteristic of any of the dog breeds that I just mentioned. But they are definitely his most charming point, as they make him look somewhat like a very adorable fennec fox. He's a bit shy around any loud noises or things that move too fast, like bikes and cars. He can get scared sometimes, and I have to be aware of how he's feeling in that regard, because Simba's history is a little heartbreaking. He was rescued by my friend after he was found tied up and alone at a house in the countryside. Simba's owner was keeping him in what seemed to be a second home that they only visited on the weekends. That meant Simba spent all day, every day tied up, without any freedom or interaction with others. The owner did lay out a week's worth of food and water for Simba in between visits, but just like humans, animals need so much more than that to live and thrive. Whenever I get frustrated that Simba gets too scared or starts barking at some outside noise, I remember that his life had a very traumatic start, and that very barking may have saved his life. The neighbors that lived around that second home realized that there was a dog being neglected and contacted the proper authorities. That's how my friend, a volunteer who has fostered several dogs with an organization in Korea, went and rescued Simba from the house and eventually decided to adopt him officially. Knowing all that has happened to this little guy, I just want to give him as much love as possible. And I can tell that all he really wants is to be loved. He's very good-natured, but because he spent so much time alone when he was younger, I'm now having to work harder to make sure he's properly socialized, both with people and dogs. Recently, he was able to meet Jisoo when I went with some friends to a dog resort for a weekend. Jisoo was full of energy and was playing non-stop. But Simba is not near as active, and I think he was a little irritated. It was very cute to watch. He's had a sad past, but I hope he now feels happy with where he is. I know I'm happy to have him in my life. But it's a happiness mixed with a considerable amount of sadness for me. I think it comes from the knowledge that even though he may be my dog now, he won't be with me forever. Dogs have a much shorter lifespan, 15 years or so if they're extremely healthy, and that just makes everything I do with him that much more precious. I guess in a way, it's similar to how parents feel when they look at their growing children. Except Simba most likely won't be saying goodbye to me. I will be saying goodbye to him someday. I'm going to witness every stage of his life from now on. He's still very young, but he's technically an adult, and I'll watch him over the years as he ages into an old man. Dogs' lives are basically like human lives lived at 6 times the speed. That's a thought I always have in the back of my mind when I look at him. Yes, he's young and healthy now, but what is it going to be like when he's old and grows sick? I'm reminded of that ABBA song, Slipping Through My Fingers. And just like the lyrics, I do feel that time is passing, and every moment that I don't treasure is going to slip through my fingers like sand. That sentiment is very apt for how I feel about Simba, and also my life in general. I feel that I spend a lot of time in my head, thinking, worrying, planning. I'm often not aware of the world around me, and not cherishing my present how I know I want to, because I'm always distracted or worrying about the future. That's one reason I started my YouTube channel, in fact, to force myself to capture my surroundings, focus on my present, and not ignore my life in this moment. But that's all that dogs are capable of. Dogs don't regret their past mistakes or worry about retirement plans. They're only mentally able to focus on their present surroundings. We as humans don't have that luxury, unfortunately. But for me, one of the biggest benefits I see from being able to share my life with Simba is the daily reminder that I can't always be wrapped up in my thoughts. I can't constantly be worried about what may or may not happen in the future. That's important, yes, but I also have a present that needs to be focused on. Some things will only happen to me once, and if I'm not able to recognize the precious things I have now, at the end of my life, I may realize that I've always been looking forward and never looking around. I hope that this video doesn't come across as too sentimental or morbid. It is a dog video after all, but having Simba in my life has brought an emotional richness that I haven't felt in a long time. I hope that I can fulfill all the responsibilities that I'm taking on now, and I hope I can give Simba's life a lot of happiness, because he has definitely brought a lot of happiness to mine. Look forward to seeing him more often in my videos, and I hope y'all can take some time today to cherish what you have in your present. Thank you, and I wish you all the best.